The Ministry of Information and Media Broadcasting Services held its final monthly press conference for 2024 on Tuesday at the Sadauda Kerabajawara International Conference Center in Bijilo. The event featured key updates from the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy and Gambia Information, Communications and Technology Agency. Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, Minister of Information, provided an overview of significant strides in road infrastructure, healthcare services, education and electricity. He highlighted the construction of several major highways, some of which have already been completed, aiming to reduce traffic congestions and enhance the flow of goods and services.
Very stable compared to other countries in the sub-region. The security situation was also stable. Politically, it's been a very stable political environment. These are facts. This is backed by empirical evidence that one of the most stable countries today, politically, socially, is the Gambia. When it comes to delivering social services as well, the government has been doing extremely well. When it comes to electricity, really the rural electrification process is ongoing. We've had an enormous expansion of electricity to the extent that the figures tell us that from 2017 to date, 203,000 meters have been deployed compared to 193,000 from independence to 2017. It means that the government's vision to ensure that every community has electricity is going very well. But also water, rural communities, through the water projects, through the Ministry of Fisheries and Water Resources, we have a lot of water projects going on through boreholes that serve communities. That is also going on. When it comes to education as well, we've all seen how government is giving scholarship to tertiary education students. Over 3,000 of them are benefiting from government scholarships. We're introducing the student loan scheme where students can take loans and pay for their fees and then pay later once they start working. The USET building is progressing. UTG Faraba campus is already on. Students have moved there. That is also doing well. When it comes to healthcare, we've also expanded healthcare access to rural communities. We already built almost 8 state-of-the-art health centers across the country in different locations. We are also building 10 more. This all to ensure that rural communities have access to basic healthcare.
He also discussed the state of the economic, noting a significant decline in inflation from 18% to between 8% and 10%, with a medium-term target of 5% as forecasted by the Central Bank of the Gambia. In addition, Dr. Ceesay mentioned the upcoming civil service strategy increment announced by the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, which is set to commence in January 2025.
Growth is going from 5.3 to 5.6% to 6% by end of 2025. The budget is a very good, but one of the best budget the Gambia has produced for decades. It's almost a balanced budget. 0.1% of GDP is the deficit. That is $198 million, which is unprecedented. Normally, countries aim for between 4 and 5% of budget deficit of GDP, but we are able to manage 0.1. This is all because of the prudent monetary and fiscal policy of this government. From January, civil servants will see a boost in their salary. This is good for the economy. I mean, John Maynard Keynes, a famous economist, says that if there is stagnation or stagflation, where there is low growth, governments should pump money into the economy through labor policies or perhaps through capital investments. When you pump money into the economy, you increase the purchasing power of citizens. When they spend more, businesses thrive. It will give a boost to production. That is what this government is doing. We are going to increase salaries next year. It will see also how it is going to affect our economy, just to what they call a cushion the impacts of the cost of living crisis, which has affected every part of the world, particularly in the Gambia. So to cushion the impact of this cost of living crisis, government is going to boost the salaries of civil servants by an average of 30%. What that means is that those at the lower tier that can get up to 60% increment, and those at the upper tier up to 15%. That is how it is, so that we narrow the gap between those who earn more and those who earn less. So nobody's left behind, because our mantra is inclusive development, inclusive prosperity.
The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Babukar Job, described the economy as stable and slightly improving.
In terms of on agricultural sector, you see that there is expected growth for about 6.6% in 2024. If you come along the lines of the finances of the government, the revenue mobilized for the first 9 months of the year, tax revenues amounted to about 13.2 billion, sort of a 3.4% increase over the projection. You also realize that we have also surpassed our non-tax, our target for that period.
Addressing concerns, they also spoke about allegations surrounding the consensus agreement relating to the Senegambia Bridge.
What the agreement stipulates that within the radius of 50 kilometers, we cannot build a bridge because this is an arrangement that government is also benefiting from. Government has 12.5% stake in the SPV that has been created. And the partner that we are dealing has 87.5%. You also don't want to build something that would actually undermine the revenue generation that eventually comes to government. So it stipulates that within a radius of 50 kilometers, until they recover the investment that they have, either 15 years, within the 15 years, or within a space of the 25 years.
The Director General of the Gambia ITC Agency, Dr. Abdulkadir Jallow, provided an update of the country's ongoing digital transformative efforts.
Now, why was DIGTA established? One, there was absence of proper coordination of ICT projects. What that means is that every ministry, department, and agency would go ahead and design, develop, and implement their own information systems without any one institution that was responsible to coordinate that design, development, and implementation across the government. And two, there is or was lack of standardization in terms of the hardware and software that we use in the design and development and operationalization of our ICT systems. And number three, there has been fragmentation in terms of how those systems are designed, developed, and also operationalized. As a result of that fragmentation, it created integration challenges, right? That means that the different systems that we have in the government or in the public sector are not integrated to be able to share and exchange information, which is very important to inform government in terms of decision making. The Honorable Minister was talking about lack of data, right? Because currently in the digital world, you need to have enough data, facts, right? Empirical evidences to be able to make informed decisions. But when you have your government systems that are not integrated to be able to share and exchange information, it becomes very difficult for you to be able to have the informed and the data that you need to be able to make informed and scientific decisions.
Reflecting on the year, Dr. Cisse expressed gratitude to Gambians for their support and reiterated the government's dedication to advancing development. He assured citizens that 2025 will usher in even greater progress in key sectors, calling 2024 a good year for the government and the people of the Gambia. Reporting for Kerfatu, I am Ramatulai Jao.